Welcome to Master Concepts in Chemistry. In this lesson, we'll learn how to calculate the number of electrons and neutrons in a positive ion. And do recall, another name for a positive ion is a cation. Okay, so we want to calculate the number of electrons and neutrons in a cation. So an example of a positive ion is magnesium 2 plus. Okay, so this is magnesium 2 plus. Magnesium 2 plus. Okay. So, as you've seen here, we have to, first of all, identify the atomic number of magnesium. So how do we do that? To do that, we refer to our periodic table. So this is our periodic table. So we locate magnesium. So magnesium is in group 2. So as you've seen, magnesium has an atomic number of 12. And remember, the number written on top of the chemical symbol of magnesium is the atomic number. Okay, so we'll write the atomic number here. Okay, the bottom left corner as a subscript. Okay. Now we'll also need to know the mass number of magnesium. Okay. Now usually the mass number is given to you in such problems. So I am going to say the mass number of magnesium is 24. Okay, so I've included the mass number now. So if you may have noticed, the mass number is always closer to the atomic mass, but always in the whole number. So as you've seen, the atomic mass of magnesium is 24.31. But in our problem, the mass number is 24. And remember, the mass number is just the sum of the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. So the number of electrons is excluded from the mass number. Okay. Now we also have to identify our charge. So remember, this is our charge. Okay, 2 plus, that's our charge. Now, the sign here, the plus sign here, means that magnesium has lost 2 electrons. So remember, the sign here means that magnesium has lost how many electrons? 2, because it's 2 in front of the sign. So meaning magnesium has lost 2 electrons. Okay, so that's what it means. So the whole of the number and the sign is called the charge. So that is charge. So magnesium has a charge of what? 2 plus. Okay, 2 plus. So how do we calculate the number of protons? So I'll write number of protons, number of electrons, and number of neutrons. Okay. So remember, the number of protons is the same as the atomic number. And recall that 12 is the atomic number. Okay. So since 12 is the atomic number, is the same as the number of protons. So our number of protons for magnesium is going to be 12. Now what is the number of electrons? Now to calculate the number of electrons, you have to recall that for a neutral magnesium atom, you have an equal number of electrons and protons. So for a neutral magnesium atom, you have 12 electrons and 12 protons. But in this case, magnesium is not neutral. It has a charge of 2 plus. And the plus means that magnesium has lost some electrons. How many electrons has it lost? There's 2 in front of it, meaning 2 electrons. So what we do is we have to subtract our 2 electrons lost from the 12. So 12 electrons minus 2 electrons will give us 10 electrons. So now magnesium has 10 electrons. Okay. So if you compare 10 electrons to 12 protons, you notice that of course the number of protons is higher than the number of electrons. And since protons are assigned a positive charge and electrons are assigned a negative charge, it makes the whole of magnesium assume a plus charge. Okay. Now, how do you calculate the number of neutrons? Recall, the number of neutrons is given as mass number equal to your atomic number Z plus the number of neutrons. So our number of neutrons is the same as saying mass number minus atomic number equal to our number of neutrons. So as you've seen here, It's just the difference between our mass number and atomic number. And remember, this value here is our mass number. Therefore, our number of neutrons is just 24 minus 12, which is equal to what? 12. Okay. So regardless whether your ion is positive or negative, the number of protons usually stays the same. And also, the number of neutrons usually stay the same. The only difference is the number of electrons. Okay, so the number of electrons usually changes depending on whether you have a positive or a negative ion. Okay, so keep that in mind. So in solving such problems, you have to at least know two things. You have to know the mass number and you have to know the atomic number. But usually the mass number is given to you, but the atomic number is not. But you're given a periodic table. Once you have the periodic table, you read the atomic number from the periodic table and then proceed with your calculation. And you also have to interpret the charge correctly. So you have to recall that plus sign just means that your atom has lost electrons. And to figure out the number of electrons lost, you have to read the number in front of your sign. So in this sense, we have 2 plus. So meaning magnesium has lost 2 electrons. If we just had plus, it means that 1 is in front of the plus, but we usually don't include it. So if it had been 1 plus, it would have meant that magnesium has lost 1 electron. Okay. Thanks for watching.